We're going to talk about the box squat for a little bit here. My friend Megan, to whom I also do programming for, has always had some sort of disconnect with box squatting. Just trying to figure out the basic mechanics of doing a box squat. She reacts to the box. It's very hard to get her to actually sit on the box. She's always kind of ran away from the box. As soon as she feels the box, she just wants to get away from it. This is one of two normal problems I see with people who struggle with the box squats. One is either they react to the box and they try to get away from it, or two, they sit on the box and get too loose, knees come in, back caves, they sit back and round and cave and then heave forward. What I'll be talking about will specifically be towards the first problem, which is what we've been working with Megan, is where she reacts to the box. So it's basically not a box squat, it's just kind of like a touch and go. It has taken me a while to kind of figure out the wording to help Megan understand what a box squat actually is. I have came up with a pretty cool accessory that helps her kind of figure out the process of box squatting. Usually her problem will be when she gets to mid to heavier weights. When she reacts to the box, her hips shoot up, chest drops, and then she has to try and recover from there. So she's just like anticipating the box. So as soon as she feels that box, she shoots up immediately. So she loses her tightness, she loses her meaning of the lift, she loses her intent of the lift, which I will show you an example of right now. Now this is a pretty big improvement from what she was doing. You can still see that she wants to get away from the box. She's not comfortable putting her weight on the box, sitting, statically holding. And when she decides to go, you can see how her butt raises and her chest drops. This is from just trying to get away from the box too fast, so you loosen up, and when you loosen up, you cave. One way to think about sitting on a box is, think about how you sit on the toilet. When you sit on the toilet, you don't sit straight down and sit on the front edge of the toilet. You also don't sit down with all your body weight. So you don't just plop, sit on the toilet and break the shit out of it. What do you do when you sit on the toilet to take a dump? You sit back to the back of the toilet, so your hole's lined up with the center of the toilet. You sit down under tension, so not all of your body weight is on it, and as you get more contact with the toilet, you slowly let that body weight be accepted into the toilet. This helps tremendously if you think of it that way. You should be trying to sit on the back of the box. You shouldn't be trying to sit on the box with all your body weight all at once. You want to sit on the box, let the box accept your body weight, stay under tension, keep it a static hold, but you still want to have tension. You don't want to just completely give yourself to the box. You want to sit down under tension while still holding the weight, still holding yourself, but it turns into from eccentric to static. For if you're just regular squatting, sure, it could be very quick, static dynamic, or when you're learning it, it could be like a 3-second hold that you're holding statically, then overcome dynamically. One accessory that I came up with, I'm sure 1,000 people have done this before. I'm not taking it directly from somebody. I'm sure I'm taking it from all the knowledge that I've got from the lifters before me. I had Megan do a box squat with heavy band tension. My initial intent was just to have heavy band tension, but as many people can probably attest, if you just have bands on the bar, if you have a band that's off just a little bit, it throws you. But the beauty with that is if you cannot find the right position to where those bands are even, if you throw just a little bit of weight on there, that kind of balances it out and it makes it feel like everything is normal and balanced. So we used heavy band tension, which was relevant for her, which was a Westside Purple. And we put a 10 on each side to kind of balance it out, but it wasn't quite enough, so we had to put another 10 on each side. So we had 2 10s per side and a Westside Purple. The point of using heavy band tension relative to the lifter, you still have to stand up engaged, ready to work. You can't just stand up with an empty bar and be prepared to work on something technique-wise. You don't respect the bar, you don't engage it. So having her stand up with pretty heavy band tension, she still has to engage the bar as if she's using maximal weight. So it starts things off right. You already started off with everything tight, upper back, you know, core, everything locked in. But you can't teach somebody proper technique with a lot of weight. So this is where the heavy band tension is better than just using heavy weight. If you're using heavy weight, it's going to be the same from top to bottom. So yeah, you're getting the advantage of forcing them to lock in, but then you're also using a weight that's too heavy for them to accomplish the desired effect on the box. So with the band, it's going to be heavy at the top and extremely light at the bottom. So you get the desired effect of having her lock in at the beginning, and then as she gets down to the box where she's weak and she's not, you know, figuring out what she needs to do, the weight is lighter, allowing her to work in a range to where she can work on her weaknesses as opposed to her technique just collapsing. Another thing with that is the box squat, you want to overcome the static by dynamic, so you want to come off the box explosively. The bands do this by, if you try to squat slow with a band, and if you're familiar with training with accommodating resistance, you know that if you squat slow with a band is going to destroy you. But if you squat strong and aggressively through a band, it'll move. So it teaches her to come off that box. Once she decides, I'm static, now I'm going to go, now she has to be explosive and get up through the band, which is what you want in a box squat. You want to be explosive off the box. If she were just use an empty bar, this would not force her to do that. She could just basically stand up off the box with no reservations, no problems, no worries. So knowing that she's going to have heavy band tension picking up, she knows that she has to be fast off the box. Teaches you to be explosive, teaches you to get up and get to lock out fast. So if you are someone who's in an intermediate range and you've struggled with box squatting, this is one thing that might help you kind of figure it out. I know that it gave a lot of light bulbs flickering going off for Megan, and I think this will help a lot because she's a geared lifter, and if she can figure it out or unlock that key to overcoming static to dynamic, her squat's going to go up considerably. Because if you're lifting in gear, tight gear specifically, those last few inches getting down to depth while the bar and you are still moving, you're almost basically at a static hold. You're just kind of waiting for those last few inches to come, and it's basically a static overcome by dynamic. So if we can make her stronger in that range, it will pay off huge when she gets to bigger weights. So if you are struggling with figuring out the box squat and running from the box and not actually sitting on the box is something that you struggle with, try squatting with heavy band tension relative to you, maybe a little bar weight just to keep the bands from being wobbly, and keep that hold on the box for anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds. I was forcing Megan to do this for 3-second holds because it forces her to stay engaged, and the 3 seconds is long enough to where she's just not going to sit on the box and immediately come back up. She actually has to stay in that static state long enough for her brain to figure out, okay, I'm going to sit here under tension and wait until it's time to go up. This helped a lot. And you can go from 3 seconds to 5 seconds, and then when she starts to actually kind of figure this out, we don't need to have that long hold, because right now we're just teaching her you need to stay in that tension statically on that box, and then you can come back out. So I hope this helps. Please box squat. It's going to make everything about your training better.